You say you can't just go to the toilet.
Does I get road rage as a passenger? Bring us home, please, I'm scared. They will love a good bit of crime though. Oh no, it's almost fuck. For a license for explosives. Free.
Wise fools.
We're talking briefly about people's jobs and stuff being replaced by machines and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Especially like sort of like going from like, you know, like the early days where it's like machine in a factory.
Yeah.
Coming to like now where you've got like artists kicking off saying AI art isn't real art and it's like ripping off actual human artists. And
Like I always thought like art, the whole idea of art was it was up to the person viewing it whether it was art or not.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very subjective in that way.
Yeah, like I thought like that was like almost a motto of art.
That's sort of the main point of it, in it, that it's people are gonna say it different ways, which
Absolutely.
I suppose one of those ways is to hate it. If we went to a gallery and looked at a painting, you might like it and I might hate it, or I might like it and you might hate it, or even if we both like it, it could be for completely different reasons. I might see something in that and you see something else.
Yeah.
So how someone can say something isn't art, you can't say that. Like if someone is saying that that's their art, then it's art. You can't deny it. You can have opinions on it, but it is art.
Oh, I mean 100%. I mean with things like this, you can't really backtrack on it as well. If you look at sort of like how things were sort of from the 12th century onwards, art was very clear of what it was. It was paintings of places and paintings of people. Art isn't like me area of expertise when it comes to history, but I think like 19th century onwards, especially like towards like the 50s, 60s, 70s, like art become less about what it was, paintings of places and people, like it always had been, to like literal anything, and some of them like were sort of worth millions as well, from what I can remember, of like just splodges and things like that. And then that's when they've sort of come up with a thing of it was up to like the beholder to determine what that made them feel like, and then that become art. And then people are sort like anyone who says that wasn't art, or like when it's up to the person viewing it whether that's art or not. Didn't some dude literally just do like a tin of soup or something and it's worth loads?
Yeah, Andy Warhol painted a tin of Campbell's soup.
Yeah,
I think that like sort of around that time that you're talking about, it sort of made a move from where the art was less about the subject and more about the artist that created it. Like when you look at you know, like every royal figure has had at least one portrait done. Does anyone know who did them? I'm sure some people do, but it's not common knowledge, you know what I mean? It's not like Michelangelo painted the ceiling in the Sistine Chapel. You don't have to be a big art guy to know that, because I'm not into art at all.
I like, do you know what it is though, dude? Like I've always sort of appreciated art, but I think obviously going back to what was said before about the likes of like when art becomes sort of like these random splodges and things like that, that's when I sort of stopped liking art. Because like if you look at like some of the like the old school ones where people are wearing like pure powdered wigs and things like that, like for the tools that they had back then, and to make it look so good, like I can really respect that art. Like I wouldn't go out the way to like think like sort of like learn more about it. Like I like to know of the person who's in it, if it's a real person and things like that. It didn't fascinate us to the extent of going out and finding out more about it, but I did sort of appreciate it. But when it sort of become these sort of splodges and these random things, this is just my personal opinion as well, like that was sort of like when the artist like it's up to the beholder, like that's sort of like lazy in a way. For someone like, and that might work for people that are really into art, but like people like me who just want to maybe might just want to appreciate something looking good, like I'm just like, you're meant to show me what this is, you're relying on me to come up with some creative sort of thing, which a lot of it I think is like total bullshit as well. Like it's like I say this splodge sort of gives a hint of anger and all this. It's like
them people are just like talking shit to look good in front of their shit talking pals.
Yes, 100%. And I feel like it's sort of creating work for them. Like I say, I'm not really that into art, but like where it shows you like a landscape of somewhere or a portrait of someone and it looks like great, I'm like, they've done a good job. But then like obviously, like when we were like when we were educated at like sort of a high school level of like art, which I couldn't wait to stop doing.
I was always shit at it, man. Like I kind of draw, kind of paint. I'm all right with clay, but I never got the opportunity to do it that much.
And then that's when I sort of like. That's the only reason I sort of know about the likes of this Andy Warhol and things like that, because of like high school art. And I was just like, what? It's literally like a tin of soup. Like
I could open my cupboard and see more interesting things.
right, exactly. Like how is the, like and like these are the people now that have got the cheek to say art isn't real AI art, when you like these are the people that are saying like a tin of soup is art. That discredits their word to me totally. One of my favourite paintings, and I don't even know who it's by, that's how into it I am, is like, you've not seen the one of King William of Orange? Like on his horse and that. Like, they were the good ones, or like battle scenes, like Henry V at the Battle of Agincourt, things like that. Nice summarise of that is like, don't tell me like a tin of soup's art, and then when people tell you it's not fucking art, say, well, you can't tell me what art is, and then go back on your word and say that this isn't art.
I mean, that's a good sort of segue into another topic about sort of freedom of speech as well, you know what I mean? Is a lot of people want it one way, you know what I mean? They want to be able to say what they want to say. They don't want anyone to have a contrasting opinion. If you want to speak your mind, you've got to let everybody else speak their mind as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I think we live in a world now where like people feel that like everyone has a right to be offended and disagree with something, right? But like that's as far as it extends to, in my opinion. Like it's your right to be offended, but it's to a certain degree, it's almost someone's right to offend you.
Aye, and it's my right not to give a shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. We sort of really need to sort of kick that mentality out of like this generation. That's why, not like physically kick it out. I mean, like sort of like banish it from the brain. Like, because even if we do it sort of at a social level where it's like everyone does the absolute utmost to like not tread on anyone's toes emotionally, it's going to happen anyways. Because when you sort of take away sort of the realness of being offended, the topics in which trigger someone into being offended then become softer. Like that's always going to be there. Things like that are sort of like on like a sort of social level. That doesn't work in the likes of business. Like business, like the world of business. Do you think if like someone sort of undercuts you and takes like a multi-million-pound contract, that would offend me? Do you think who's like there's someone that's done it to you cares? No.
No,
like,
if they did, they wouldn't have done it in the first place.
So the sort of like the more exposure of like being, it's like if someone wants to practice being able to handle alcohol, they're not just going to drink like a Dalwhinnie single malt straight away. I mean, they have a beer or an alcohol pop and things like that. You work your way into it, and I feel like that's what you need to sort of do with young people and children. You sort of need to expose them, but in minute situations.
Give them little doses of like, this is how harsh the fucking outside world is.
Yeah, this is how the world works. You need to they need to understand what it means to feel disappointed, what it means not to have things their own way, and then it's not so much of a shock to them when they take a step into the real world, and like it's sort of like a daily thing.
I mean, I've seen a couple of videos lately of kids and birthday cakes trying to blow the candles out when it's not their birthday and then crying when they're not allowed to, or like the parents have devised some manner of like, there was one where like it was supposedly the dad's birthday and there was 3 candles on the cake and there was 3 kids, and you would like put a plate so that the one kid could blow one candle out, another one blow the next one out, another one blow the next one out. It's like, just tell them, yeah, it's not your fucking birthday. Wait until it is, and then you can blow all the candles out. Till then, stop being a little shit. They need something, you know what I mean? Because they cannot be, you know, now it's candles on a birthday cake, in the future it's someone else that they're going to be whinging about. They're just going to keep on crying until they get their own way, and they need to learn that that's not how things are done in the real world.
100%. The thing is, these kids are one day they're going to grow up and be adults. A lot of like the things that you sort of see and experience as a kid, like that sort of like molds your attitude as an adult, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, and we've all seen these adults, and I'm like, well, people are literally sort of like have sort of labeled these like white women Karens that go on like that. I think these are like perfect examples of people that needed told no a bit more often when they were growing up.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the problem is that a lot of parents are like taking shortcuts to make their own lives easier while the kids are being a hassle. It's like, fucking put them in the next room with an iPad or whatever, and they're not, you know, putting enough thought into like, what kind of adult do I want this child to grow up to be?
Yeah, 100%. Because I feel like especially as a father myself, I feel when you're a kid, like when you have a kid, like you're always sort of proud of them. But I feel like when they're an adult, that's when it starts to like the actions affect whether you're proud of them or not, and what they've achieved and things like that. It's one of them where like I'd be so disappointed if one of my kids like grow up to be one of these like people that are just sort of offended by everything and like sort of kick and scream,
looking for the next protest and that.
Like there's been like a sort of an issue with the bin men being on strike. I don't know the ins and outs about it, but I know that like it happened just after Christmas, and from my understanding, you don't get paid for being on strike.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I wouldn't imagine so. I wouldn't pay you if I was your boss.
Mate, I think that's like a massive. I think it's sort of a thing that you don't get paid for being on strike, or everyone would just go on strike. Like people would take liberties on the.
I was always trying to in school organise strikes and that, just because I couldn't be asked going into school. And I was like, oh, everyone stay off tomorrow. They cannot do anything if we all do it. And then it was just me, and then I got wrong.
Aye, right. But I like it. I've been seeing like a lot of it. Fair enough, you pay your council tax, right? Like that's sort of in it. Everyone knows like it. Like you're getting tax regardless. It's as simple as that. Whether your bins are getting emptied, you're paying council tax. And a lot of people like they probably just see they wheel their bin to the end of the driveway or whatever, and the bins get emptied, and they don't. That's all they know about it, right? And then as soon as these people are on strike, some of them are literally just saying, "Oh, just sack them. You don't know why they're on strike. You haven't bothered to learn, because from what I realised, like I sort of like stand by them. Like I agree with the strike, I support the strike. These people are sort of calling for them to be sacked, and it's like you haven't bothered to learn what they're on strike for, and you clearly overlook the service that these men and women are providing, like emptying your bin. As soon as it inconvenes you and your bins aren't getting emptied, the first thing you think of is sacking them. In my opinion, anyone with that sort of view is like a ball bag, basically. Yeah, you are a ball bag.
Aye, right. Like, you need to take a step back and look at the fucking situation.
Aye, exactly. I mean, like I was saying, like these people aren't getting paid. It was just after Christmas. I mean, I don't care who you are. If you're a working class person, after Christmas, everyone needs to sort of make as much money as they possibly can, like financially get back on track. Or maybe it's like whatever they've put dents in the savings. Or a lot of people take out credit cards and pay like for Christmas, pay it all back, and then get into a new one by the time the next Christmas comes. So if these people are on strike in January, it must be serious. And from what I'm looking into, it was like a massive like sort of like a bullying thing. It was like really bad. And like these people that are calling for like them just get sacked simply because they're on strike, these are like the same people that bleat on about mental health and things like that. Oh, the support mental health talk more. Then as soon as it inconveniences themselves, it's like, oh, sack them. Like, right. Are you that much of a fucking ball bag? I think it's the oldest trick in the book, right? Instead of open-minded people such as myself that would like look into why these people are on strike before I form an opinion on it. It's the oldest trick in the book. It's called divide and conquer, and that's what the council wants. Like they want him to say, "Yous aren't emptying my bins, so I want yous all sacked." Instead of everyone sort of turning together and going, "Why isn't the council doing anything about it?" and putting pressure on the council. Like no one sort of bands together anymore. Like I don't know if you know much about the mining strikes, but it didn't matter if you were a miner or not. A lot of people supported the miners and looked after the miners when they're on strike. We don't have that anymore. As soon as you inconvenience someone now, they're calling for you to be sacked.
There's no fucking solidarity anymore. Like,
but then these people are the ones that'll sit and whinge at certain things, like with the government and things like that. And then as soon as you sort of inconveniences you're just sort of calling for them to be sacked. But then like if you keep maintaining that attitude on like sort of like a street, like on a street level, we could never impact any sort of change. And what you're going to do is like, just sit and whinge about anything without actually achieving nothing or actually bringing yourself to do anything about it. And you're not going to like sort of inspire real change. To all these people that are calling for the bin man to be sacked, I respect your opinion, but go fuck yourself. Like,
I mean, are they going to end up doing it themselves after, you know what I mean? Or are they just expecting a team of scabs to get employed?
Well, I think like things are sort of getting back to normal now. I mean, I haven't looked into it. I would like to sort of, if we're all going to talk about this again, I would like to sort of like look more about it and be able to give like people watching more facts and what it's like actually about. But I think it's all sort of settled down now. But it's like these bigwigs at South Tyneside Council sort of like handing like senior jobs to the people that don't really deserve them, like looking after their friends and things, which I've experienced at work many times. Like you'll have someone, it's like I've been working on site since I was 16. You'll get these people that are like basically paid to tell you and guide you on how to sort of run a job and a project, and they're having haven't changed they haven't fucking picked up a wrench to change a tire on a bike before. Like, they haven't got a fucking clue, and it's simply because the dad or whatever, like, they're just sort of looking after themselves, and these are the people meant to be like telling you how to do your job when they're like a million times worse at it, and they're earning a cushy little salary while doing so as well.
I've learned at a fairly young age that there's a couple of ways to get to the top in a job, and not all of them are the best. Like my granddad at the time, he was working away on the oil rigs, as was his brother, and they were on the same one for a while. Both started off at the bottom. His brother ended up getting promoted to not the top, but near the top fairly quickly, simply because he was fucking grassing on everyone. Someone was doing something wrong, he was straight to the fucking boss and tackling. He got to the top, but he had no fucking friends, whereas my granddad, he worked his way up, was mates with everyone, never fucking grassed on anyone, and then when he got to the same position, he was still fucking mates with everyone, you know what I mean?
And you're sort of like more respected amongst like the guys then. It doesn't matter who you are, what like area of work you're in, no one likes a fucking grass, like no one likes a grass. It's the cheapest and shittiest way to get to the top. And like my dad's like a joiner, as you know, and one of his mottos I learned from his dad, who was also a joiner, was say nothing and so you would. Just fucking concentrate on yourself, divin fucking get involved with any of the side drama, and divin fucking grass.
Crack on with your own business, it's got nothing to do with you.
Exactly. And if someone's doing something bad that they really shouldn't be doing, like, they're gonna get found out themselves anyways. I mean, like, these easy riders and chancers always get discovered eventually. Fucking not worse than a grass. No one likes a grass.
I hope that's the one lesson my brother learned from us from when we were growing up. Like, it's the amount of times I had to fucking teach him.
My sister doesn't grass, like, she's not a grass. It's like, I think you almost sort of notice that doesn't like get you anywhere as well. I mean, like, at a top level as well, a lot of the times you're not going to, and it goes same with like being a good worker as well. Like, a lot of people think being a good worker is going to sort of get you like to the top, and if you're like hitting the right amount of numbers and things like that, or like especially in areas such as sales, do you think they're going to take their top salesman off the fucking floor and stick them in an office?
I've noticed a lot of the time in a lot of situations, people who work the hardest get walked all over. It's like, oh, well, you can do this, you can do more. I'm expecting this level from you consistently. You know what I mean? I've always been put in the bare minimum amount of effort all the way through school. Every job I've had, I'll do as little as I possibly fucking can, and just scrape by on that margin. Do
you know what it is? I like working hard, sort of thing. But like, there's simply like, and it's simply for a selfish point of view as well. Like, because it just simply makes the day go quicker.
That's why I sleep.
But there's like it's one of them where like the more you give, the more people take in some of these jobs as well. But sort of like back on the topic of grassing, like, I had it once where there was this manager I was working for, and he was one of them sort of like, he was on the tools himself. Like, he was just sort of like sound. He seemed sound, but then he was sort of, you would go back to like sort of the head office whenever I was back home and things like that, and then they would pull you on things that he's told them about you. And I was thinking like now you just seem false now because you've always been sound with us, and now I'm getting pulled in front of the director of the company saying that you are doing this, you are doing that, like, and all this. Like, he could have nipped it in the bud there and then and been like, listen, I would prefer it if you'd done this sort of thing, and I would have respected him for that and like heeded him.
Just straight had a word with you.
Like, that was one of the worst jobs I've ever had, for like trying to like please everyone. Like, it was one of that was another one where there was like a director of the company who was like, she was simply there purely because she bought her way in. I'm sure she had a degree in like I think it was like she had a HR degree or something about human resources or some bullshit like that. It had like absolutely nothing to do with site work. And then she's all of a sudden she's telling like a lot of like highly skilled people like how to do the jobs and things like that. Shit is like, I had to try and please her the best I could. Like, she was one of them where she was like, you don't exceed 10 hours a day. And then on site it was like, it was on night shift, so I was having to like pick up like any materials through the day. So that would take sort of 2 hours out the day, and then I was doing a 10-hour shift, so I was booking in 12 hours. I got told not to because it was over me 10s, and I was like, well, what about getting materials through the day? And they say, well, you do 2 hours in the day and then do an 8-hour shift on a night time. And then I was going on site, and then it was just like I was leaving. They were like, oh, you can't leave. And I was like, wait, you know what I mean? It's impossible to please these people, and I couldn't wait to get out. It was just an absolute shit show. show. This is what happens when you employ people to tell people to do on something they haven't got a fucking clue what they're talking about. That's what happens. It's just a big fucking circus, mate.
Another thing I hate as well is fucking middlemen of that kind, of any kind, really. I mean, there was one job I ended up leaving. It's the only job I've ever had through an agency. I don't remember getting in touch with this agency. I don't know how they got my details, but they're like, oh, we've got this fucking job for you. I was like, yeah, fair enough. I was working in the warehouse for them, picking and packing for the online orders and stuff. And it wasn't too bad. Like, it was a pain in the ass because you were, like, on your feet walking about all day. Like, you'd never got a chance to sit down apart from your half-an-hour lunch break. The last straw for me was when they were like, you have to do a certain amount of overtime every week. And I was like, all right, like, I'll do, like, you know, an hour. But then fucking it turned out because I was employed by the agency and paid by the agency, I didn't get overtime pay. Like, I had to do the overtime, but like everyone else that was doing the overtime was getting time and a half or double time if it was on the weekend, and I was still just getting the fucking base hourly rate. And I was like, well, nah, fuck this, why don't you just fuck the agency off and hire us directly? And they're like, oh, we can't do that because of such and such a reason. I was like, right, well, go fuck yourself and I'm quitting.
See, that's what makes us laugh about like these sort of like big corporations that sort of like push the narrative of like equality and use it as like a sort of a sales thing, like we're an equal like thingy, and they're always like bleating on until it comes down to money. As soon as it comes down to money, it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, you're getting shafted when it comes to pay. As simple as that.
It is like a sort of like high class mafia extortion ring, like just extorting the fucking labour, extorting the cheap work, people who need jobs and that. Like, right, you get the job, but the job's going to pay us and then we're going to pay you less for doing fuck all, you know what I mean?
Do you know what it is? I'll be honest with you. Like, I used to get some good agency jobs. I don't know if it's just simply it's different because it's always sort of like construction, and I think it's especially like it's like construction's getting better and better because less and less people want to actually do it.
You've done a lot of work through agencies. I've known like over the years. You're always like, oh, I've got this agency on the go. I've got that agency on the go. So I guess because I've literally only had one interaction with them and it turned out bad. You've had a lot of interactions with them, so chances are you're gonna have had a few good ones as well.
Yeah, I think with agency work, you've got to sort of like take the rough with the smooth. I think it's sort of like I had one sort of like the same thing because I used to just exclusively do agency work because if a job was terrible, I could either leave and find another job literally the next day, or I could stick it out because it was only a temporary job anyways. Sometimes they're only like a week or two. It was all right. You could just sort of like ride it out if it was bad. But I had one where it was like the problem with the agency work was all the sites would like during Christmas would dry up, like because everyone's shut for the Christmas. But with agency work, you don't have like sort of holiday pay like you would on the books. That's like the most like expensive time of year where there's no work going. So I ended up taking one at Amazon. I've always got this sort of saying, which is if you're not earning money, you're spending money. At the most expensive time of year, I just took this bullshit late shift Amazon job, and it was simply just to earn a bit extra fucking money for Christmas sort of thing. And it was the worst job I've ever experienced because at Amazon, like, you were so easily replaced. You could just get checked like shit because there was already 10 people waiting to take that job anyways. Whereas on site, it's hard, you're sort of more hard to find. Like, there's not as many like tradesmen as there are people that want to do a warehouse, especially at Christmas time. You would just get checked like absolute shit. I think I lasted like 2 days. It was funny as fuck because I got given this job called the float or something, which is like, do you know when all the packages are coming down the line, everyone's sort of had their, like, they were looking out for packages with their aisle number on. Like, if they missed one, that's when I would sort of be dotting. It was the worst job to have because you were just sort of dotting around trying to find like all the ones that you missed, and I needed a shit, right? So I went to the toilet and then I come back and it was like a build up because I wasn't there to do it. This pencil neck little dweeb, right, dude? Was like, he was one of them, he was like barely 17. He come and he was like, oh, this build-up's because of you. And I was sort of like, I needed the toilet. He was like, you can't just go to the toilet. I went, what the fuck? Like, especially since I was used to site work, you didn't get spoken to like that. You would just fuck off as well. I was sort of like, I was like astounded that he would talk, like he actually said that. And I was like,
I've been raging, mate.
I can't just go to the side. I can't just go to the toilet. It's like literally a basic human right. Are you mad? And I just went, oh, can I go to the toilet? Can I? I went, went, I tell you what, right? And I whistled because James was working there, and he was at your end. I went, James, right? And I just seen his little head pop up. I went, yeah, mate, I'm off me. This is bollocks. This. You went, I need bother, I'm coming and all. And he was like, where you going? I was like, well, I was like, I can't go to the toilet, can I? There's going to be a massive build up there then, because like they'll always be able to sack you whenever it suits them.
If you leave the short staffed.
They couldn't get one literally there, and I thought, like, because I was going to get sacked. I knew I was going to get sacked, and I wasn't that arsehole. It was a fucking shit job.
My favourite part of any job that I've had is walking out the fucking doors, like. Right,
dude. And he was just like, and I was fucking like, well, you go do it then. I can't go to the toilet. Are you mad? Do you know what it is? He's lucky I done it then, because if it was now, I would have stuck the job out just to spite him. If I needed a shit, I would have done it on the floor there and then.
Right.
And I fucking would have as well, you know. I'm not just saying that.
Nah, dude, you fucking mental. Do you want to know like an extra little fucking middle finger to Amazon as well?
What's that?
If we make any money on Twitch, it's them that's paying with because they own Twitch.
I did that.
Yeah. That's why you get, if you've got Amazon Prime, you get a free sub to a channel per month.
There's some like horror stories about like working for Amazon. I've noticed. Like that's another thing as well. Why I don't sort of give the Amazon drivers shit. Like everyone goes on about them just sort of parking anywhere they want and things like that. But like they get paid a set daily wage. Like it doesn't matter what hours to do. So and that's why you still see someone flying around at 8-9 o'clock at night.
It is mad. Like
so, like when people go on site and they're blocking the road and things like that, I would do exactly the same. And so would you. And so would anyone whinging about it.
It's mad that people do complain about it. So long as I'm getting my parcel, I don't give a fuck. Say they're delivering to next door. It's not like they're going to be sitting parked outside my house all fucking day, like blocking me car in or something. They're going to be there, right, take the parcel at the door, fucking sign it, take the fucking picture for confirmation, and then the fuck off. It's done in like 5 minutes.
Like, it just goes back to what we were saying before. Like, if you don't get your Amazon parcel when you're expecting, you kick off, but then like you'll kick off if an Amazon driver's blocking the road. Like, you just can't win. Like, everyone's a fucking crybaby like these days. I've never really understood road rage that much anyways. Like, I've always been one of them. Like, it just didn't really bother us that much. Like, everyone...
Yeah, it's funny for me because I get road rage as a passenger. Like, I've never been the driver and I still get road rage.
I get more road rage as a passenger, but like it's weird because it is a driver. Like I never really got it that much because it's not a big deal. Like people will go absolutely mental over the smallest things on the road. I just didn't understand it like at all.
I'm glad it exists though because it makes for some good fucking dash cam videos.
Aye, right. But like fucking people need to fucking chill the fuck out. Like the first to complain if they don't get a certain parcel on time, and then they'll cry if fucking Amazon's blocking them for a couple of minutes. And
I want to get my parcels when I want them, but fucking next door's getting parcels. I don't want that happening.
Oh, dude. Do you know what? Like, my ma was telling us a story last night that was funny as fuck. Like, there was this, like, one of my ma's uncles knows someone who doesn't get on with a downstairs neighbour, and they had one of them, and he, like, obviously overheard them using that Amazon thing that controls the heating. When they went on holiday, he, like, went down and on the letterbox, he shouted, like, Alexa, put the heating on full, sort of thing, and it did it, right? So their heating was on full belt the whole time that they were on holiday, dude. And he, with him being upstairs and the like heat rising, he never had to use his.
Right, so that's a belt.
Fucking class.
It's a two-pronged attack.
That's sort of a downside of like the convenience of things like that. I think that's a topic we're actually hoping to talk about today, sort of like relying on technology and
gonna say that fucked up them eyes.
Dude, is it really that bad to like just go up to the dial and turn your heating down? I'm pretty sure you can do it on your phone as well. So I think a lot of these people that have got these Alexas and things like that, they're like, I think it's just simply, it's almost like a status thing. It's like, yeah, watch this, Alexa, turn the heating off, sort of thing. And it's like, I'd rather go on my phone and turn it off, or just get up and just turn the fucking thing down. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It's not that deep.
Like most shit just has, like you say, like an app on a phone or a fucking remote anyway. So like you can't get any more lazy than that.
On to the sort of the next thing, when we're sort of going on about like all that people going on saying like the young people have got it like so easy like today, when they like could afford to have like 100 kids and they buy a house like cheap as fuck. Like I understand like the value of currency, sort of like if like £10 doesn't get you today what it did 10 years ago, sort of thing. Like I understand that.
I don't. Like, I mean, I know it's a thing, but why the fuck does it happen? Like, who decided that? You know what I mean? Whose decision was it to make make it worth less?
Right, I think it's because like everyone knows sort of. I think it's like when like people try when they print more money to try and solve the economic problems, but it never works. So all it does is sort of devalue your currency. Like I'm not a financial or an economic expert by any means, but that's sort of my understanding of it. Like it's mad because one of my friends' dad was like. He was like on like a 5-hour week, and this was in a good job back in the day. And he was saying like, hey, there was this car going cheap as fuck. It was like a 5-hour something, and but he couldn't part with a week's wages at the time to pay for the car. And like then these other people sort of going on saying we've got it like really easy like today. But like I don't know if you've ever seen it, but you know like back in the day when you would have like literally a room of people on like typewriters. Think about all them jobs that have been replaced by a computer now.
That mean them 50 people is probably being done by like one person now.
And even now, I think in the next 10 years, that one guy's job's in jeopardy. Like, so like that really, really scares me. Like the less of humans, like the need for humans in terms of like jobs and things like that is getting less and less.
Yeah, we're expected to work more and more.
To sort of like get a house and things like that. Like, imagine what it's going to be like when we're old people, dude. Like a proper like technology proper scares me, you know.
Some of it is fucking freaky. Like, I mean, some of it I would opt for. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't say reliant on technology, but I'm dependent on it in a way. I use it a lot, and I miss it when I don't have it. Like when I'm playing games and stuff, simply because I'm so used to that. I don't know. Say I ended up stranded in the fucking jungle somewhere and had to survive for myself. I'd sharp get used to it, like not having a computer there, and because I've got a lot more other shit to focus on. You know what I mean? I need to find food. I need to find water. I need to make shelter. I need to keep myself warm.
I think especially with the likes of us, a lot of time we've been sort of talking about doing the wild camping. Like that's sort of what we want to do for fun. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like, I'd love to fuck off to like I mean some of the Asian jungles that I've got in like Thailand and Vietnam and that. I'd love to just fuck off into the middle of there and never be seen again like they all are last. Probably not long because I've got crazy spiders over there. I was straight away ringing up the fucking embassy. Bring us home, please. I'm scared.
Where are you? I don't know. I like it when Churchill goes and he's sort of like on about like when they discovered the concentration camps, and he goes anyways, remember camping when you'd spend a lot of money to be poor for a week? Yes. Anyway, genocide.
Right. He was a crazy man. Like
he was mental. Like I think he was fucking. I hate how everyone sort of glorifies him because apparently he was a massive dick, you know.
Yeah, and a raging alcoholic.
I'm pretty sure like he ordered like the Navy to like shell a bunch of fucking miners or something. In Darlington or something. I'm pretty sure like he done something like that and he was like obviously like back in the time like the Northeast was heavy dependent on shipbuilding and in coal. Well, dude, I think this sort of like fucking goes back to like when technology are sort of like taking over these industries. I think like us being from the Northeast, we've seen what happens simply by like industries that are heavily like dependent on like communities that are dependent on these like sort of things. Like you've seen what sort of fucking happens when they go. We've got no shipyards anymore. We've got no
not many steelworks left, if any.
Exactly. Like British Steel's on its fucking last legs, if it's even on legs at all. Like I don't know if it's gone now.
But none of our cars are made here anymore. They're all either made in India or in Germany.
Sold off all the best automobile. Don't make ships anymore. We don't mine coal anymore. This is like sort of like a big issue when you take away these industries, these sort of communities have to come up with their own industries and make money, and it's always crime.
They will love a good bit of crime though.
I like it to a sort of extent of like sticking it to the man sort of thing, but it's brutal. Sort of like look around with like what it was like, and like everyone's sort of like, oh, you youngins have got it easy these days. Yous all had jobs before you left school. Like it's fucking the shitter than ever.
Yeah, it definitely, like looking back, obviously I didn't experience their lives, but it looks easier to go through what they went through than it is to be struggling for money in this day and age.
Yeah, I think
there's going to be a lot of homeless people in the next like 10 to 30 years, maybe not even that.
So like I think when they sort of come back and say we've got got it easier. We do have it easier for like these minor sort of like, we have got a more convenient life, but we certainly don't have an easier life.
The convenience comes at a cost.
Aye,
Sure, you were
right.
getting your milk delivered to your doorstep, but your wife was getting pounded out like a mullet duck.
Aye, dude, you know that, how we're doing that thing about the fucking phone case, dude?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, for fucking for the people watching, I don't know if they know about this, because I did mention it on a fucking stream. In a hurry, I sort of bought, like, a phone case. And there's these ones called turtle cases, which is like sort of like a 360 thing. I fucking end up buying just a standard phone case with fucking turtles on, right? And what I've done is I try to get like, there's this thing called line marker, which is essentially yellow spray paint. It works sort of upside down, like the nozzle sort of like that, so it works directly down on the floor rather than having to be like up like that. And I tried to fucking spray paint over it, so like, I was really embarrassed getting it out, like, in my late 20s, a builder, pulling out the fucking Moana style phone case and that, dude.
Pure cutesy little baby turtles and that swimming around in a little whirlpool on the back of his foot.
So I tried to fucking spray paint line mark over, and it's covered everything but what I wanted to hide. Look at, dude.
It's not quite for. Oh, there we go. Now it's almost in fucking.
It's covered like fucking everything.
No, it just looks like they're stranded on the beach and can't find their way back to the ocean.
Fucking saves them, mate. Stupid fucking turtles. So it didn't fucking work at all, dude.
Right, dude, that's a piss take. That how is it not covered that bit?
I don't know, dude. It's like the accursed one, like.
Doomed to have a little cute turtle phone for the rest of your life.
Not just one, I've still got another unscathed one there. I got two of the fuckers by accident.
Yeah, in a hurry and that, trying to buy it. Quick, before someone else gets the last cartoon turtle.
What the fuck, dude?
I'll buy two and I'll sell the other one on for massive profit.
It's an envious one.
Hey,
Hey, dude,
that'll be worth a fucking tenner.
Aye, right. Then I'll prove the doubters wrong.
That'll show them.
Fucking see someone bump into some cunt that's like, oh, how you doing? How am I doing? Remember when you took the fucking piss in? I was an idiot for buying that fucking phone case. Well, look at all this shopping I've just got with it, you fucking mug.
There's just fucking 3 cornettos and a packet of McCoys.
Yeah. A big fucking bag for life, just with fucking a packet of Rizla and a fucking lighter.
Right.
Now, do you know what is that kind of fucking reminded us about something I'd like to fucking talk about that does not make sense at all, right? Know how we're cutting down on the use of plastic, right? So now things are cardboard straws and like we've got like little wooden stirrers and the likes of Starbucks, things like that, right? Correct as if I'm wrong, but didn't we fucking start using plastic because we're cutting down too many trees?
Right.
For the environment. And now you're saying we've got to cut down trees to save the fucking ocean. I honestly fucking think, right, the only hope, I don't know what views you've got on it, like, I don't know whether I believe in global warming or not, because I just don't trust anything I'm being told anymore. So, like, it wouldn't surprise us if it was real, but at the same time, like, I think if it was real, I think they just wouldn't fucking tell her about it.
I don't know, because I mean, obviously it's one of those things that takes a long time to happen, and I haven't been alive for a long time. But in the time that I have been alive, I saw a hell of a lot more snow when I was a kid. Like the last time I saw proper deep snow was probably when I was about 13, which is like over half my life ago now. And then also like, I mean, what was it, 2 or 3 summers ago, where we had like the hottest day on record ever when it got up to like 40 degrees. So that, I mean, that says to me that, maybe shit is getting hotter. I know there's definitely a hell of a lot less. I mean, there was one of the David Attenborough documentary that came out during the lockdown, and it was sort of covering on like what had happened to the earth and to the wildlife in his lifetime, which is obviously a hell of a lot longer than mine. Dude, it's unbelievable the amount of shit that we've lost, like in terms of forests and animals like to live in those forests but can't because we were like, nah, let's fucking put them down and make loads of crap out of it. The fucking shame, because I mean, all these animals, like, I'd love to go and see them. I'm gutted I didn't get to see more than while I was in Africa, because it was one of the things I was really wanting to do. But to get from where I was staying to Kruger National Park was a big cost in itself. And then because it's so far, we would have had to like get a hotel over there, and then there's the price of the fucking the park itself, which if you're not a South African national, they charge you like double for. Like, I'm kind of gutted I didn't get to go, because who knows, it could have been my last fucking chance to see some of that shit in the wild. You know what I mean? It could be gone by the next time I get there.
Yeah, man. What's fucking crazy, right, dude, is they're saying, like, the likes of Starbucks and things like that, right, are saying we've now looking after the ocean, so we're now cutting down more trees for straws in like temporary cups. What's fucking crazy is, realistically, what we need to do, if we really do give a shit about the environment, is stop going there. Stop going there. Make your own fucking coffee. I mean, like, it is nice, but it's for me personally, it's not worth the fucking price you're paying for it money wise. Like, I just don't buy into this fucking narrative of swapping between plastic and thing. We'll be doing it again, dude. We'll be saying we've cut down too many trees, we need to go back to plastic, and it's just this endless circle. It's almost like controlling what we buy is what the whole like the sort of big corporations and the government narrative of thingy, and the sort of disguising it as giving a shit about the environment when it's not. It's controlling on what we're buying. Or we're buying plastic, or we're buying timber. What we really need to be getting told is, well, I mean, if you don't need told if you actually have a fucking brain and decide to use it now and again, but stop going. Make your own fucking coffee. Like, you know what I mean? If you really give a shit about the environment, you don't go to Starbucks anyways.
Starbucks for me is a fucking weird one, you know, right? Because I don't like coffee anyway.
Yeah.
And that's like fashion coffee, and I don't like fashion either, as you may be able to fucking tell. I also don't understand, like, not just about Starbucks coffee, but the way people have been going for the past like sort of 5 to 10 years. I've been noticing it's a big like thing to be like, oh, I drink this much coffee a day, I can't function without this much coffee in the morning. If people were going on about fucking heroin in that same way, it'd be a serious problem. Because it's coffee, it's like, oh, I'm so fucking, look at me, I need coffee just to be nice to people in the morning. It's like, well, have you ever tried just not being a cunt? Yeah,
it's like a fucking it's like a fashionable fucking thing. It's fucking it is mental.
It's not a nice drink either, dude. The only time I drank it in my life, I've had to have like 30 sugars in to make it fucking tolerable.
I like coffee. I must admit, I do like coffee, but I don't like it enough to be paying that fucking price.
If I was going to drink it, I'd be drinking that homemade granule shit.
I'll be honest with you, I used to not think global warming was real, but now I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Like, I really fucking don't know, because I just don't fucking trust what anyone says anymore.
It's one of them things as well that it's like, I've started in the past few years to like realize, like, it doesn't matter what I think about this, it's out of my control, so I'm not going to think about it at all. Yeah. And I just sort of stopped caring, which is a shame, because like everyone either didn't care in the first place or is stopping caring, and that's the bad thing. You want to get more people to care about it and make a fucking change, but it's just, and I think it's not going to be on my shoulders, you know what I mean?
Like the most talk about people that are trying to do something about it are a bunch of fucking divvies and all, like.
Mm-hmm. I hate, like, there's people that I see, like, there's causes that I sort of, I'm not going to say that I stand for, but that I agree with.
Yeah.
But then I see protesters protesting for it, and it's like, I agree with what you're saying, but you're doing it the wrong fucking way. You're going about it the wrong way. I mean, these people sitting fucking gluing themselves to the road and that, you know what I mean? The amount of times I was like, I wish I could drive just so I could go and run them over, you know what I mean? Even if I agree with that cause, I still don't want them there. They're a nuisance, and I want to fucking teach them a lesson, like that this is the wrong way to get what you want, you know what I mean? You can't just be throwing tantrums in the street and expecting everything to go your way.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I honestly think if global warming is fucking real, I think it is one of them where we're going to have to just accept the fact that it's going to happen, because I think it's one of them where unless we literally just press the reset button and fucking go back to how we're, like, generally, which I think were the way we're intended to live our lives, then that's the only thing that'll sort of fix it, but no one's fucking willing to do that. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think I am as well. So I'm not telling people this is what they need to be doing while I'm sitting on fucking Twitch. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that at all. But, like, I think if it is real, like, I don't think there's any fucking hope, like.
Nah, it's pretty much too late. That's my view on it. Like, it's like I say, it was pretty much from that David Attenborough documentary at the end as well. This was a couple of years ago. I seen it, and it was like saying at the end of it, it's like if we don't make a change fucking now, it's too late. It pretty much already is. He reckons in about fucking 20 to 50 years, the sky's gonna essentially be made of fire. So that's something to look forward to.
Fuck, dude.
Right, dude. But I mean, it sounds fucking badass. Like, it's something I always wanted, like, since playing Mortal Kombat as a kid and seeing them purple swirling clouds, and I was like, I wish we had a fucking cool sky like that. And if it gets lit on fire one day, at least it'll look mint before I die.
I think that's one thing we need to sort of take away from that is be careful what you fucking wish for.
Right.
Because it might just fucking come true and it's not it's not as great as what you think it's going to be.
I won't mind. I mean, I mind in a way. I care more for the animals and stuff that'll needlessly suffer at our hands. You know what I mean? We deserve that shit. They don't. We're bringing it upon them.
It's one of them fucking. It's one of them things because it's like it's a human problem. They're inheriting like a human problem, and it's not their fucking fault.
It's mad, like watching certain things adapt to like being around so many humans and that. You know what I mean? Like foxes and bears and that, like rummaging through people's bins and raccoons and that. When those animals first evolved to be what they are, and guarantee that wasn't what they were designed for. You know what I mean? It's like, right, I'll give you these attributes so that you can go through human bins and eat all their shit. Like, foxes were meant to be catching rabbits and that, not eating your fucking leftover Indian takeaways and that, and fucking wondering what the fuck's happening when they're shitting of fucking lava.
Why?
Telling all our fox pals, avoid that house, they've done something to that food there.
Aye, right. I don't know what it fucking is. It seems fucking great, but just don't fucking do it. Unless you want your fucking arsehole to feel like a fucking bit like that. Everyone's favourite or least favourite thing. Guns. Do you think regulated guns would be good or bad for this country?
Bad. I think nobody should be allowed guns except me. I'm the only one. That's me honest opinion. I'm not saying I'd be responsible with them. I'm not saying I'd be irresponsible with them. I'm just saying nobody else should be allowed one and I should. Because they are fun. Right. I mean, it's some of the most fun I've ever had in my life when I've been shooting and that. You get a feeling of power, you know what I mean? There's certain people that shouldn't have that power. And I'm probably one of them, to be honest. But I still want one.
Yeah, dude. I think like the only sort of thing I can really go off with in terms of like looking what it's like having guns available is America. And although I know that I cannot sort of like base my whole opinion on what I see, because you're only ever going to see sort of the bad things, because that's what gets views and that's what makes money. And I think it was you that told us is we changed our gun regulations after one school shooting.
Yeah, back in sometime between 94 and 96, I believe.
Like, the problem is, because if you actually look at their gun laws, I'm pretty sure, like, as soon as you've got a criminal record, you're not legally allowed to have a gun. I think the only difference what makes a gun legal and illegal is literally having a serial number on it, so you can like trace it back to the owner of that gun. It's so easy to deface it, and then that's now an illegal gun.
I mean, it's even easier than that for people now as well, because they started doing like 3D printed guns and stuff, where you basically all you had to get that wasn't 3D printed was I believe it was the upper receiver and the barrel. But the barrel, I mean, you can use any bit of tubing if you've got a fucking tap and die, and you can put some rifling in properly.
Or you could just generally buy the genuine part, because isn't it really sort of only the housing of the gun that has the serial number? I mean, I'm by no means a firearms expert.
I know, it's I think it's the lower receiver, which you can 3D print. I believe it's been a while since I was looking at it. It was a couple of years ago now. I thought it was a really interesting thing. But like the guns that they're making are like 90% 3D printed. It's just like, you know, a couple of metal components for the slide, the upper receiver, the hammer, stuff like that.
So, like, could realistically you then go and buy a gun legally and then like just swap over it to a 3D printed one, and then there you go, you've got like an illegal gun? So I'm pretty sure you only need to get the commands and codes off the internet, and then
they're easy to find because it's not illegal. The plastic part for a gun, you know what I mean? It's only illegal once you put the full thing together. If it's in a country where you're not allowed to do that. But yeah, I mean, like a lot of the designs when you're checking them out are for the Glock 19 in particular. You can literally just go out and get a Glock people are literally just using it as like a customization thing. Like they'll buy a
Aye.
normal Glock and then they'll just print out like a fancy handle with like fucking, you know, dragon shapes and that coming off it. Because obviously it's much cheaper just 3D printing that out of plastic than it is to like go and get like a experienced fucking metal worker to go and carve that shit for you.
Like I think the only sort of way to sort of counteract their problems, because it worked for us. I mean, I've got it up here, dude. The Dunblane massacre took place in Dunblane Primary School near Stirling. It's the one instance we've had. In fact, like I was going to skip it and look into sort of what Parliament done about it. The results of the inquiry into the Dunblane massacre recommended that the government of the United Kingdom introduce tighter controlled handgun ownership and consider whether the outright ban of private ownership would be in the public interest. Of course.
Well, it's done now. That's what they did.
Like, so how can an American, I mean, this has happened to us once, dude.
Mm-hmm. And that's literally all it took.
And one was too many, and with outright banned guns. And I don't even think that even before then, it wasn't like a rootinest, tootinest country where we were sort of just going round with them. I think even then it was like rare and hard to sort of obtain licenses to have them. And we've changed it, and I'm glad we did. So how come sort of, I know like any sort of American that sort of has a say in this would say, you're not American, you don't understand, and that is correct, but it's happened to the United Kingdom once, and once was too many times, and I'm glad that they took away the guns. And
you know what's funny? What I found funny a couple of years ago when I was looking into gun license and stuff in this country, you've got to. It's not an easy process. Like you've got to go directly to the police to get a license and give them like a good reason why you need one. I.e., for sport. There's a separate license for rifles. There's a separate license for shotguns. They're £50 each. But on the same page, you can apply for a license for explosives, free.
What the fuck?
Nah, dude, I was like, but I think it's for like fucking people who work in demolitions and stuff like that. I don't know. But then even then, a CSCS card to get on site isn't free.
Nah, dude, it's fucking bullshit, is what that is.
Scratch at that, like, innit? Like, why have I got to pay £50 for a shotgun license? Extra £50 if I want a rifle, but I can just get an explosives license for nout, you know what I mean?
Like, and bearing in mind, like, if you're getting an explosive license, you're clearly a well-established and decent-sized demolition company, which is, even if you did have to pay for it, would be tax deductible anyways. That's fucking bullshit.
Right, it's crazy, isn't it? I couldn't believe it. I didn't even think there was such a thing as an explosives license.
Comparing our gun laws to the US gun laws, like, the answer to their problems is it's worked for us. How many school shootings have we had since 1990? So, like, completely taking away gun ownership has worked. It's worked. The proofs say it's fucking worked, right? So the only problem is, if you eradicate like sort of gun ownership in the United States, is the only people that are going to have guns are going to be the criminals, and they're the people that you sort of need a gun to defend yourself against. The question is, do you sort of fucking take the hit, and eventually as time goes on, do you just sort of like take the hit that these criminals are going to have guns until eventually sort of simmers its way down into no one having guns? Like, do you take that hit or do you keep it as it is? You know what I mean? Like, that's sort of the decision they're going to have to, but I'm assuming they are making. I mean, I don't live there, so what fucking difference does it make? But it is sort of like one of their fucking main things. Like I see, is like one school shooting was enough, and I'm so fucking glad that it's never happened again. That reminded us that I was going to get into, which sort of counter argues what I'm saying, is that don't they have quite lax gun laws in like some Scandinavian countries, and don't they have no problems with it?
It's sort of like it's easier to get one over there than it is over here, but it's because they've got such a vast wilderness out there. There's so many hunters. Pretty much everyone and their dogs out hunting. As a whole, they're generally viewed as like sort of smart, decent people. You know what I mean? That's what I was saying before about the one country with like the laxest gun laws is the one country with the stereotypical people that shouldn't be allowed guns. You know what I mean?
I think like it does come down to culture as well. Mm-hmm. I think the thing with the Scandinavians is they're like they got their sort of madness over before the 11th century. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing people forget as well. Like, America is a really young country. Like, it's really new.
Less than 200 years, isn't it?
Something like that, dude.
American history, I couldn't give a shit about.
I'll be honest with you, like, I am into history, and I did sort of like look into the War of Independence, because it's something we don't, like, we're not taught in school. And I always sort of like seen it as the attitude of like, we didn't really want to teach with kids things that were lost at.
My history in school was quite one-sided, like.
Yeah, it was. But in fact, if you sort of look at I don't know if I'm being biased here, but in fact, I know for a fucking fine fact I'm being biased here. But like, the sort of thing I took away from the American War of Independence is we funded the colonies for a long time at a financial loss. So they were kind of dependent, like, on the United Kingdom financially. And then as soon as, like, we started taxing them, because it started to become a profitable country, it was like sort of a fresh start for a lot of people. And it flourished from the get-go. It started to like flourish. So as soon as like the United Kingdom have funded the colonies of the America at a loss for however many numbers of years, and then as soon as it turns a profit and we start asking them to pay a tax, which is, by the way, it wasn't sort of like an exclusive tax, like they were paying the same taxes what they were in the United Kingdom, so it's not like they were treated any different to it. They started to like kick off about it and like essentially rebelled, and then launched a failed invasion into Canada. It wasn't as sort of one-sided as I thought. Like, I just seen as that with like King George was a tyrant. I'm sure it was King George V. Like, he was like a fucking tyrant, in that the Americans done well to sort of defeat her and get her the fuck out. But really, it was kind of fucking some bullshit, dude. It's sort of like, you give me £10,000, right, to start my own business, and I then start the business, and then it makes me a millionaire, and then you sort of says from the get-go that like I'll give you like a 10 grand startup loan, but you've got to pay interest on that loan, and then now the time has come to repay it, and I'm a fucking multi-millionaire off that 10 grand that you borrowed us. I turn around and say, I'm not paying that fucking interest. Are you fucking stupid? So it wasn't sort of as bad as I thought. And also like King George V, like, because of the American point of view, because they were the only people talking about it, sort of thing. Like, the 4th of July is sort of like a national holiday for them. Like, King George is sort of perceived as thingy, but do you know, if you actually look it up, dude, he's probably my favorite monarch ever. Like, he was fucking thingy. Like, he was massively against slavery as well. You know, I think he put into action like the Abolishment of Slavery Act, which we didn't stop paying for until 2015, by the way. Like, that's how much debt this country had to get into abolish slavery. Rightfully so.
I was telling you the other day as well that like sort of the act of owning a person wasn't outlawed until I think it was April 2010. Like, all the other stuff was that like you couldn't kidnap a person, you couldn't like you couldn't traffic people and stuff like that, and all this other stuff that's associated with slavery. You couldn't force people to work and stuff like that, but it was legal to own another person until 2010.
Do you not think it was sort of one of them things where like it was like it didn't need change because no one was doing it anymore?
Pretty
like,
much,
anyway.
yeah. Like it was sort of never viewed as a state of being. You know what I mean? It was never sort of considered that a person could be owned, so it was never written into law that they couldn't.
Like, because I'm pretty sure there is. I think every country's got this as well, where they've got sort of like stupid laws, but they just haven't bothered like changing them because like the cost that it takes to sort of change a law, it's not worth doing it. It's easier to not enforce it.
Like
say for example, it's illegal to go fishing with odd socks on a Tuesday or something.
Well, there's a city or town in Scotland. Can't remember if it was Lance Armstrong or Neil Armstrong that went there, and they were like, there's a law here that like if an Armstrong is caught in the town, he has to be fucking publicly executed or something. Like obviously they don't still follow that, but like fucking they were all about the clans and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure because there's an interesting thing about second names as well. Like I think like Scotland with their second names, I think like even if you weren't sort of part of their nobility, if you were sort of in that clan, like you were like called their second name because you were part of their community. Like you weren't necessarily have to be an Armstrong, but like you were called an Armstrong because you were sort of from them. I think that do you know what's interesting with second names as well, dude? Like when like the sort of documenting people. Well, when people need second names, though, like obviously people back then like literally just called the second name whatever trade they were in. That's how you know like someone's like a strong English heritage name, because of the likes of Smith is a trade, Miller is a common second name which is a trade, Taylor,
Baker,
like
Cook.
Baker, yeah, things like that.
Yeah, because I mean, it was literally just like, I'm going to say John the baker, and then you just start taking the out of the middle, and it's just John Baker.
Like people just sort of got fucking called like the fucking whatever trade they're in, like the likes of Bowman as well. Why does Stringfellow as well is like it's not as common, but that's someone who just like literally makes the string of a bow as well. Well, that just goes to show, going on what we're saying before, like how much, because of technology, you see on sort of a scale how much it's actually shifted, because there wasn't just one specific guy for making a bow. There was a bowman who made the bow, and then there was a Stringfellow who made the string for the bow. So there's two people employed to make one thing.
Right, and then Archer became a surname as well.
Like someone who actually used the fucking thing.
And
Did
Fletcher,
you know, dude?
The Fletcher has a surname as well, I think.
Yeah,
which is who makes the arrows.
Who makes the Like, so how many different trades are there? Like, there was a whole industry there based on a bow. Mental, innit, dude? And do you know how, like, we were, like, fucking really good at using them as well?
Some of the best.
Because it was, like, the best. And that's because it was actually law to train with one every day. We were, like, really good at it because, like, obviously, as we know, the French sort of preferred the crossbow because it was, like, sort of, like, any cunt could use it. But we were really good because it was actually a law for like just any like peasant to sort of train with one, and I think it was like sort of like twice on a Sunday, which was like one before and one after church. But did you not see that thing, dude, where like the line of succession was sort of in question of like the royal line, and the track down one that like should be the actual king, and it's just some dude in Australia.
Nah, it sounds about right though.
Aye, he's fucking like they tracked him down like based on his heritage, like so like the person who realistically should be the king is fucking just some random dude.
I'm just picturing some pure ginger specky cunt pure nerd at his computer and that like, word, I'm supposed to be the king.
No, dude, he looks like a proper like the Australian version of a redneck. I don't know what to call him over there, but he was proper raging about it, dude. Like he was like, because I don't think he likes the British, so he's like fucking like what?
I seen I didn't see it, but I remember my mate telling us about it, and I wish I could have seen it. But do you remember fucking Benefit Street that was on here? So-called documentary about all the people on the fucking dole and that living in pure shitty council houses and that.
Yeah, dude.
There was like an Australian show that was that kind of thing. This guy's like going about like asking just random cunts like in like the equivalent of like Asda car park or something if they want to buy some heroin and shit. And he's just like, yeah, they're doing a fucking documentary on scumbags and we're the leaders. They just don't give a fuck.
Aye, mate. The first one was in Birmingham over here, and then the second one was actually in Stockton.
I didn't know they made a fucking second one. Like Stockton's a rank place, so.
Oh, dude, it's fucking mental. Like, dude, do you know, like one of the worst crime areas? Like, everyone thinks it's London and shit like that. Like, but it's actually Darlington, you know? Aye, dude.
I wouldn't guess that, like.
Yeah, did you not ever hear about that Japanese guy that he was sort of like in the Second World War? He ended up getting like lost in the jungle, and he didn't know that the war was over for fucking 10 years or something.
He didn't believe them when they told him to come out and that.
He was part of region that they surrendered and that.
I'm pretty sure something similar happened with fucking a father and son in the Vietnam War as well. Like I'm sure they were discovered more like, I don't want to say recently, but relatively recently.
Aye, like in terms of history subjects, it's recent.
That's mad though, like, because the one with the Japanese guy, like, he still saw fucking, because planes weren't a big thing in the Second World War, apart from for the fucking military use. That's sort of when they, like, were being used a lot.
Like, it weren't really, like, such a commercial thing back then.
Aye. And then, like, after that, started being used a lot more for, like, mail and like, passenger destinations and stuff like that. And so this guy's just seeing and hearing all these planes flying overhead. He still thinks it's the fucking, the Spitfires or whatever, or the fucking American Mustangs and all that shit. He still thinks fucking bombs are getting dropped and whatnot.
Well, technically they did, but that's what ended the fucking whole goddamn thing.
But now I'm on about like years later, like in the fucking 60s and 70s and that, this guy, well, I don't know when he was discovered. However long after the war ended, he still thought was going on. I can understand his thinking, and especially with the Japanese guy, like, because they have such a thing of honor and like never surrender, death before surrender and all this, that he wouldn't believe that's what his country as a whole did. Like, I wouldn't accept it if I was him. But like, nah, there's no way you're lying to us. This is a fucking trick. You're luring us to me death. But I was gonna say with fucking Vietnam, like, I knew the sort of as a blanket term that they used fucking guerrilla warfare and jungle tactics and all this, but it was only pretty recently, like within the last couple of months, that I looked into like how fucking deep that got, like,
and how effective it was.
Aye, they already had like tunnels underground, which I didn't know about, like from when the French were either tried to invade them or threatened to invade them or something. They already had a lot of tunnels dug from that. When the Americans started coming in, they expanded them into like vast network. Like, they'd have like sort of like sleeping quarters down there and shit with like sort of, you know, like a thing so high with like 3 hammocks and that way where you're all sleeping and stuff. They had like a lot of ammo and rations and stuff down there. But they also had a lot of fucking traps, dude. Like, the Americans, they had these things called tunnel rats, which were like people who got sent out to go and find the Vietnamese tunnels, kill whoever you see in there, take their shit and get back out with it, kind of thing, or burn their shit down. But the shit that they had to put up with, like, they're going through fucking like tiny spaces in pitch black, probably with a guy waiting at the next corner who can hear you trying to fucking crawl along the thing, essentially blind. Soon as you pop your head out the fucking hole, bang, you're dead. But even if that guy wasn't there, they had like, you'd be going along and then there'd be like a fucking weak, like thin wood or whatever, and then you'd just fall into a pit filled with fucking spikes, often covered with human shit. Aye. Dude, they had vipers that they would tie from the ceiling, and they would just fucking like bite the fucking American soldiers that would crawl past them there. And they were so poisonous that they got called 2-step snakes, because all you could take was 2 steps and then you'd be dead.
Imagine being like an American soldier and being like, fucking hell, they're quite advanced, these tunnels have got ceiling fans. And then the ceiling fans would like sellotape fucking snakes on them, like,
They'd have like, say you dig like a small rectangle, like the size of your foot. You dig that down like 12 inches deep, about 6 inches. You dig like a wider hole, and you put like 2 boards like that with like spikes on either side, and then the plain side in the middle. And then you put like just, you know, some fucking leaves or whatever to cover the top bit. You put your foot in, go straight through the boards into that gap, and the spikes come in and fucking impale you through the ankle. A lot of the techniques weren't necessarily to kill them, because they knew that if it costs a hell of a lot more to treat an injured soldier than it does to care for a dead one. So a lot of the traps involve like maiming them out in a way. Not just that one person, but the people that have got to come in and rescue them, who then you can also potentially injure. And then even if they get them out, they've still got to feed them, they've got to treat the wounds, they've got to get fucking medicated. Depending on how serious it is, they've got to be flown home, and they still might even die anyway.
Like this is the thing when people sort of like look at like war and like total like they look at what like the countries with the most resources and the most firepower. Like it doesn't always work. Like Vietnam was a massive failure,
and they were a lot of them were just farmers and regular villagers and just normal people trying to go about their lives, and then they're getting fucked over because the Americans are like, fuck communism.
It's sort of one of them, right, where like sort of in recent warfare with guns and like fighter jets and things like that, it's like total war in general, it's never worked. Like, as Englishmen, we have never ever conquered Scotland for the exact same reason.
Because the fucking barbarians.
Well, dude, like I don't know if you've ever been to the Highlands, right? But do you know how it was so successful in France? Like at one time, like France was under more control of the English than it was the French at one time. That's because they were fighting us our way, but we were better at it. The Scottish never ever done that. They fought us the Scottish way in Scotland. There was two things we had, like what we weren't really at the stage of like sort of the Scottish War of Independence. Like I think it was the first one where it was Robert the Bruce and William Wallace. We weren't really known for our archery like then. I mean, we had them, but we weren't as good at it. What we were, and even still, like the Scots were just as good, so it wasn't really an advantage. But if you go to the Highlands, like cavalry is pretty much useless there. I think like the English heavy cavalry had never been defeated until they went up Scotland. And it's like just playing at your strength. So people are always like, people sort of play these hypothetical games of war going such and such would beat these. There's no guarantees at war, and there never has been. And you're stupid enough to fucking think that there is. It's you can never guess that there's like wars that like people should have lost. I mean, but we like the United Kingdom should have lost a lot of wars and never. Like most recently, the Falklands, that was a logistical nightmare, dude.
I mean, I don't want to say we're the underdogs, but like sometimes the underdogs, like Vietnam versus America, are the fucking more successful ones.
100%. I think as well, I think that was the America's first ever experience of jungle warfare as well. Like, I'm pretty sure they sent them over here for training in jungle warfare because they'd never done it before.
I sent them to England with its fucking vast rainforests and that.
I know. And fucking ceiling fan snakes.
It's a good one. That's like the advanced version in it. Like they've leveled up. They've gone from ramshackle to journeyman.
Aye, right.
But yeah, the fucking they had this going back to the traps and that. They had this one called the tiger trap, and I thought it was called the tiger trap because it trapped tigers, but it's actually called the tiger trap because it fucking pounces on you like a tiger.
Aye.
It's basically like a big fucking. Like a big heavy board or big heavy slab with loads of fucking spikes on the bottom, hoisted up in the trees where you can't see it, like walking through with a tripwire on the ground. You walk through with your platoon 4 or 5, maybe even fucking 10 of you are getting killed. Just pure squashed and spiked to bits.
Like, I think another thing as well is like you're fighting against people that don't really have war crimes. I mean, everyone's supposed to technically have war crimes, but like, I mean, if you wear, I think the distinct difference in this case is if, like, you're wearing flip-flops, you're not going to fucking, like, fight it to the rules, are you?
Exactly. I mean, like, I've said this about all things. I mean, even wars out in the Middle East and stuff, they're not fighting fair, so why should we? You know what I mean? We're like, oh, we can't kill civilians. They know that, so they're giving civilians guns and bombs to fucking fight with us, and then you've got to kill them, and then you're getting done.
It's like I think it's against the rules of war to like stab someone with a rusty bayonet. Now that's why you've got to maintain your bayonet.
Blood poisoning. You're not allowed to kill them through blood poisoning.
That's fucking crazy, isn't it? Dude?
Proper. Like I always thought, like when I got told that, like what does it matter if you're getting the job done? You know what I mean?
Aye, right. The thing is, though, you're never going to win against these things anyways, like, because, like, you're going to kill them, their sons are going to go up to hate you, you kill them, their sons are going to go up and hate you. It's just an end of cycle, we should just keep our fucking nose out, like.
But it's because they're all for profit now, you know what I mean? It's like, we'll sell you the guns to fight us, you know what I mean?
I
always said, like, it's done wrong. Like, wars should be had to invade and take over another country. When you do that, you should wipe the fucking lot out so there's no chance of them coming back at you for revenge. Because I would, if my country got invaded and fucking all my family got killed and I was left alive as a child, I'd be pissed off at the country that did it and I'd want to go and fight them.
Aye, and you fucking will. You will.
Fucking too right.
I mean, I've seen too many movies that go on about these sort of revenge fucking things. But then the whole thing is like it's unattended anyway. Well, exactly. I mean,
his parents got killed by one criminal and he took it out on the fucking lot.
Well, exactly, and it's you made us think about that thing with Batman.
I'm not Shaquille O'Neal.
Dude, I was like, what the fuck did he do? It looked like it was just going bad.
Basically, there's some guy who seems to be talking to a guy dressed as Batman and a guy dressed as the Hulk. And then some other unrelated guy to the situation comes up and says he looks like Shaquille O'Neal when he doesn't. The guy's like, I'm not sure. And then he starts kicking off at Batman, saying that he doesn't look like Shaquille O'Neal. And it's like, well, why? Why are you kicking off at Batman? He's not the one saying anything. It looked like you were having a conversation with him before that.
It's not even like he could have like overheard it neither. But he just goes over to fucking. Do I look like Shaquille?
I'm not Jack.
Hey, what the fuck did he do?
Till I put that other one on with the crazy guy. Fucking, I'm on schizophrenia.
I've been having problems with you, man.
I prepare yourselves for this craziness that Nathan sent us yesterday.
He be sharp. Look at him. Look at him. I'm gonna shoot his ass. He fucking around today.
I remember you.
Oh,
You're the
dude, I
security
can't
guard
hear
in the
it.
building, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I've been having
Oh
problems.
shit, it's called mute. I'm muting fucking
And you know
thing.
what, man?
Oh, fuck it. Sorry, dude.
I want to apologize to you, man.
Okay.
I hadn't had my medicine, man. I'm on psychotropic
Nah,
medicine.
sorry.
Man. You know I'm schizophrenia, you know.
Right.
I hear voices, I see things they say this is not really there. And I just want to apologize to you because I was wrong. Hey, you know, I've been working all day. I've been working for 12 hours all day. Can you just shake my hand?
Of course. That's all I've been wanting was an apology from you. That's it. That's all. I'm just trying to do my job, sir.
But you know what, sir? I was thinking about something.
Oh, motherfucker, this nigga Craig. Do it. Come on. Hey, you going to fucking jail, man. You know what? Hey, get the fuck off my property. Fuck. Gone.
Bitch, I'm gonna kill you. I hate your ass. You know who is trying to took my motherfucking money. Bitch, I got money now. I got motherfucking money now. You know what? You thought I was gonna forgive you? I'm gonna schizophrenia, motherfucker. I'm gonna kill you, fuck that. Hey, you know what? I got my knife in my pocket.
And you better not bring that knife over here. Your ass gonna die tonight. Come on.
You got a gun?
Come on, motherfucker.
got a
Come
gun?
find out.
You got a gun?
Come find out.
I don't think you got a gun. He's a rinky-dink motherfucking cop. You ain't even got a badge. Hey, you know what? Hey, big bro, I told you I take medication.
Calm down, man.
I don't know what be wrong with me. I just lost everything.
Oh!
Dude, the fucking end of that.
Like, I feel proper bad for him. Like, you know what I mean? 'Cause, like, that must be horrible, like, to like, that be in your life. And I hope he gets the help he needs and things like that, but fucking, it's just the situation's funny as fuck.
It's the way that, like he comes over apologizing and all this and goes on about, oh man, you know, me head's fucked, I'm on these meds, I've been working all day, I just want to shake your hand and all this, I'm sorry we've been having problems and stuff. The guy's like, yeah, that's fine, that's all I want, and then he's like, but you know what, another thing, fuck you, Pierre punches him in the head and then goes on a Pierre rampage saying he wasn't going to forgive him even though he was the one apologizing. Oh, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry, I said I was on my mate, and then tries to boot him again.
This is probably going to go down like a fucking lead balloon, right? If I end up in an old people's home, I'm going to, like, go out my way to, like, make sure they think I need fucking loads of drugs and shit. Yeah, dude, you know what's fucking funny as fuck, right? I know, like, this guy who used to go to a lot of raves in the 90s, right? Like, he had, like, long hair, like, probably, like, up to his shoulders.
Up to his shoulders?
Like, up,
Was
like...
it, like, grown up
like,
was from his chest?
Part of Rasta toes. I like fucking like down to his shoulders, right, dude? He fucking like there was all these lasses that were wanting to put these beads and shit in his hair before the rave, and he thought he was like pure class because there loads of like giggling lasses going like doing his hair. He's just sitting there like a boss. The next day he woke up, obviously he was fucked up after being on a rave, and he thought he'd been punched all over or something, but it turns out everyone like told him the next day it's because he was pure dancing around. The beads were put spraying him to fuck like in his face.
Right.
He was thinking he was getting set about now.
Dude, that's funny as fuck.
Oh, right,
The
dude.
Pierre
Like, imagine
assaulted
that.
him and then carried him home and put him in his own bed and that.
And he's like, what the fuck happened? Like, I got beef now or something.
That's funny as fuck.
But was he fucking hair beads, dude? I need to grow my hair out for charity, you know, dude, because I want to donate it, but like, it's got to be like, at least, it's got to be like 12 fucking inches, dude.
Are you fucking prepared? I mean, well, fucking, enough from your dad being pissed off at that you take long showers anyway. So fucking, when you have long hair, it's going to be way worse. Like mine,
dude,
honestly, by itself takes probably about 15-20 minutes, sometimes half an hour.
Like, right, do you know what the thing is, right? And like, people go on about me taking a long shower, right? It's because, right, and this happened not long ago, like, people were asking, like, if people wash their legs in the shower, and like, a lot of people were saying no. And I'm like,
I'm like, well, what, like, why wouldn't you wash your legs, dude? Like,
well, exactly, dude.
I didn't understand why it was even a question.
Well, exactly, dude. Like, I wash everywhere. I fucking, like, I do in between me toes and everything.
And
then,
the
like,
bottoms of your feet and fucking all every crease in your body and that, where all the sweat gathers and all that.
I do everything. Like, I start from the top and work my way down, but then I leave the conditioner on through the duration of the shower until the very last thing, so it, like, has more time to take its effect. And, like, a lot of people are like, no, I don't wash my legs. And it's like, these are the people saying, oh, because there was a, like, when I used to work away, like, people used to, everyone accuses of fondling myself because I took that long in the shower, but it's literally because I wash everywhere, dude. Like, it's the point of going in and getting clean. Imagine you go and get your fucking car washed, right, dude? And like, your fucking whole car's spick and span of waxing, but then your alloys are still fucking muddy as fuck. You wouldn't have it, would you?
Right,
So
well,
why do
it's worse than that, because fucking the wheels on a car are a relatively small percentage. Your legs are like 50% of you, or in my case, like 75% of you. Like, why would you only do half a job? You know what I mean?
Exactly, dude. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense, dude.
If you were painting the wall, would you start at the ceiling and then just stop like fucking here?
Exactly. Like, what the fuck? Like, why wouldn't you though, dude?
I can't even believe it was a popular enough thing to be something that was asked. Like, I never thought to ask someone. Like, well, I mean, I definitely don't think we're weird for doing it.
I don't think we're weird for doing it, but like, we're like the outcasts for like cleaning 100% of work.
It's got nothing to do with what we were just talking about, but I just looked at your cam there and you know who you look like.
Who's that?
Fucking Trey Parker.
Do I do? I forget what he looks like right there. Do you think?
I do, like the way your hair is and that.
He hasn't really got hair like that on any of these photos, like. Dude, it kind of is like his hair and my hair, like in terms of colour as well, dude, are exactly the same. Where you get like proper dark roots, but then like with them being like more exposed to the sun, like it gets blonder. So like the newer hairs are like blonder than thingy. Like the ones that like the ends that have been there for longer. But it pisses us off because like people on site accuse us of forgetting highlights. I'm like, I fucking don't.
Like, it kind of does look like that in a way. Like, it looks like you dye your hair and you just haven't done it in ages. But I've known you for years, and I've never once known you to dye your hair. Maybe with that fucking temporary shit that washes out, but never.
And plus, when I'm donating it, I can't dye it, so I can't do it. So, like, do you know what it is? It's always the baldest motherfucker that says it as well, dude. One of them had the fucking cheek, right? He's a bald dude now, but before he was bald, he was ginger. I'm like, you've got the fucking worst history in hair, right?
You're not allowed to talk about other people's hair if that's
like,
your crack. Like.
You've got two, like now when you get like blackballed out of a club and shit, you've had two. You cannot comment about hair. Right. You're not involved in this discussion. You know what I mean, dude? I'm like, fuck that guy, man.
To be honest, I've had to say that fucking Mr. Bowman himself, he was a baldy ginger, and he used to fucking make fun of me for having long hair, calling us the king of the hair bears and that. But it was in good fun and that. I used to tell him it looked like he dipped his head in a bowl of Watsits.
Like, I used to howl about him because you know how they used to teachers used to also like mock exams for their schools and shit like that. Like, he was telling us once like about like Raj answers that he got, like, do you know, like the suffragettes, dude? Like, one of them was like he give like a proper detailed answer of like how they were nothing but prostitutes and that, like, but it was like a really like cleverly worded like paper. It was like William Shakespeare, and it was just fucking totally wrong.
It's crazy looking back how like some of them were like, well, you know I was saying in like year 7 and year 8 Mr. Anderson was like seemed like pure strict as fuck, and then in year 9 I had him for English. I was like, oh, it's gonna be a year of hell because he's not gonna be putting up with my bullshit. But there was teachers that like totally did put up with me bullshit, you know what I mean? Like for Mr. Chambers, for one, I got on quite well with him. Dude, he was cool as fucking dude. Right.
Because like I used to like, because he like actually knew us, like, because no teachers that never taught you, and then you'd have a fight and they'd be like throwing the book at you. Every time I had a fight, like, he'd be like, Nathan, you're not a bad kid, you just need to stop this. But I think deep down he knew that I only ever got in fights with good reason. I wasn't exactly going on like just scrapping for the sake of scrapping, dude.
I imagine it was much the same with you as it was with me. With him, I was only ever defending myself, you know what I mean? And I told him exactly the fucking crack. Like, he knew when he was going to the other person, he would get their side of the story, and when he came to me, you would get what actually happened.
Right, dude. I think like was it like I think that's why I would make a terrible teacher. One, because like I wouldn't become the very thing I detested by being like a dickhead teacher, right, dude? I'd want to be like a cool teacher, but as soon as someone's like a fucking arsehole, I couldn't hack it. I'd be like, dude, like get the fuck out of my classroom.
That's the thing. Like I couldn't. I mean, first thing that I'd probably start as being a teacher, besides the lack of education, is I cannot stop swearing. I'm foul mouthed as fuck, and they're not going to be having that.
That's an interesting thing, actually. Sorry to interrupt you. Do you know what I think we should do? Right, I think we should normalize swear words, dude, because
pretty much have.
Like, wait, I know that, but
like
not
on
really.
A personal level.
I mean, like, just like sort of thing, like, because do you know, like, like my parents, like, I wasn't allowed to swear in front of them. I wasn't allowed to swear in general, right? So now being a bad thing, but something you're so capable of doing, and something that's not against the law. It's like as soon as I was out the house, dude, I was swearing like fuck, because I wasn't meant to be doing it. But imagine if you just let everyone swear, and you sort of took away the sort of taboo out of it, like, and just made it a part of the fucking language. Like you wouldn't really have that problem.
I remember the first time I sort of realised, like, yeah, my parents aren't around, I can do what I want. I would, like, it was weird, some of the words I wasn't allowed to say as a kid. Like, not only was it, obviously I wasn't allowed to say piss. I wasn't going to say I'm going for a piss when I'm like 6 years old, but I wasn't even allowed to say I'm going for a pee.
Really, dude?
Aye. And then
like, I think it's because that's short for piss, isn't it?
Aye. I remember being in school and I went to say to my pal, like, oh, I'm going to go for a pee, and then stop myself, like, oh, I'm not allowed to say that, and then realise, like, yeah, no one's around, I'm going for a piss. Like, and then just from then on, I was like, right, I'm swearing whenever no one's around. Like, and I was just doing it all the time.
Right, dude. I love swearing, though. Like, it's such a fucking class thing to do.
It's very effective.
I love it.